Halloween comes early to Greenville, South Carolina. September 5th to the 7th at the Embassy Suites on Verde. Retro Horror Con. Haunted by a toy chest worth of ghoulish collectibles for you to take home. With a scream-worthy lineup of Horror Hall of Famers to die for. Get your tickets at RetroHorrorCon.com. Toy Federation presents Retro Horror Con.
We're back again. We made it. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. And I also, everybody who stumbles upon us may not know who we are. A lot of you may, but if you don't, my name's Ryan. I run a toy store. This is Travis and Andy. And we're part of we're a Toy Federation.
Yeah.
So, but what was the topic number one?
Where we're going to talk about the business of toys and what things people want to know.
Or is that where we're starting, or is it the funky, fresh?
Well, we could start with gimmicks if you want. It's whichever one you want.
Well, if we're talking about toy gimmicks, glow in the dark, I know is your favorite.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love glow in the dark. It's stupid. It's slightly radioactive. That's true.
It's a home run for a kid.
Only you would know that.
Right, yeah. Right. But yeah, the first glow in the dark anything I think I had was like a little bendy skeleton, and I loved it. I even
Was it one of those like old Ahi ones or no?
Yeah, it was sort of like that.
Did those have glow? See, I don't remember.
I mean, mine was probably way more generic. Like even though Ahi's like HI, what's the brand again?
Hambrick Incorporate. I don't know.
Right.
But it's
a
Ahi,
70s brand, right?
Yeah,
Ahi. Mine was probably more generic than that. It probably was like made in China, and that was all it was. But I made a little Grim Reaper outfit for it, and
that's cool.
I thought, I enjoyed that
artistic talent early.
And then of course Scareglow. That was
right.
That's
He-Man.
the one. That's the.
But RoboCop, Kenner RoboCop had some glow, guys.
Yeah, I always wanted it. I didn't get it till I started working here.
The cool thing is when you close the shop, all the lights are off and you're walking out, you start to see all the things that glow.
See?
I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't think there was a glow-in-the-dark Joe.
No.
Right?
No, they had color change all day.
Eco Warriors. And
no glow-in-the-dark Joe.
What a missed.
Night Force stickers.
Oh, yeah, the Night Force stickers.
Does that count?
Vehicles.
That's a very weak effort. Stickers are the first to go. Half the stuff you take to the tub anyway.
Yeah.
So they should have had a glow-in-the-dark Joe.
I never took my Joes in the tub.
Oh, I did all the time.
Did you really?
Yeah. The lake, wherever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I mean, when I moved to South Carolina, I never heard so many stories about how they said they buried their toys. And I was like, how is that like a South Carolina thing?
No, it's just
I didn't bury my toys.
Well, but you grew up in Florida, right?
Yeah, it was hard to dig there.
They
they do put pools there, but you're digging into like coral rock. Like,
right.
It's hard to dig here.
It's not like.
Well, but it's easier than bedrock.
It's true.
Coral, whatever that's in Florida.
But it's cheaper to build a pool there than here.
Weird.
They overcharge here.
Math.
Because
you want a pool,
and it's more competitive over there. I had some pool guys tell me the whole story.
Well, it would be in Florida. You're like
almost everybody's got a pool.
Yeah.
So they're
like
they're
requisite.
They're hustling.
But you don't really even need a pool. You just go
50
miles that way, and then there's the ocean.
But
right?
going to the beach is a nightmare.
Right.
You live there and you hardly go there. Maybe unless you're young and single.
Water park.
So then
you avoid the beach like the plague.
You don't want to go to the beach because it's a nightmare.
Driving there, parking, everything's a nightmare.
But you want a pool.
Well, because then it's your backyard.
That's America. That's what that is. I love it.
Right. I want a pool. It's in my yard. I don't have to go drive to the beach and pay parking and see and then the beach is weird in Miami. Like, I mean, I've been there in a long time, but there's there's a lot of people. Because I still think, it was optional to wear some clothing in certain parts of it.
Oh, geez.
So you're going to see some 80-year-old lady.
Oh, yeah.
So he's just like, all right.
Lucky you.
Yeah. It's like, I want my own pool.
I'm on vacation. This is what I asked for.
Right?
Yeah. That was a long time ago. When I when I was growing up, South Beach was not a thing like it is now. What am I missing?
No.
I'm just finding it comical how like we start with glow in the dark toys, and now we're talking about like
Grandma at the beach.
off the beach.
Yeah. But
I did lose my faker at a beach.
Really?
Yeah. That was not a good day for me.
Small fact on Faker: when it comes in, you got to make sure it has a sticker under his.
Yeah, it looks like a little tape recorder sticker.
Because Faker in the cartoon looked like He-Man. He was flesh colored.
Right.
And then the toy, they're like, well, we can't.
Make
It looks like He-Man, so we made him blue, and put some two reels on his chest with a sticker.
Well, it kind of makes sense because Skeletor's like, well, I'm gonna make him look like he's gonna be blue like me.
I'm gonna make him like me.
He's gonna make him like me.
But nobody's gonna be faked.
Give him orange hair.
It's the blue He-Man. Yeah, you're not He-Man. It's like so silly, but it works. I guess
He fooled me.
I didn't know.
I don't know.
It's the blue lighting.
I was confused by that. Speaking of which, the confusing thing that happens as a kid, you get a toy and it's different than the cartoon. You know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That confused the crap out of me because I saw the cartoon you're talking about with Faker.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't know that was Faker.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it because I had the figure first.
yeah,
It's like Robot He-Man. I don't know.
yeah.
Right. I just always assumed that he was supposed to be like color change. Like
It's like Maskatron.
oh,
Like I don't know. I just thought of Fembot.
oh
But I mean, that's Austin Powers. But it was a $6 million man. It was Fembot.
yeah.
But then he must have been a fan of $6 Million Man.
Oh, you talking about
Yeah,
Austin Powers.
Mike Myers.
Oh yeah, well that's a Lampoon parody of
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
yeah,
Odd
so
Job.
many things from the 70s. But like the
Random
spy,
Task.
Random Task.
This is great. I don't know why they don't do another one.
Give it time. They remake everything these days.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't remake it. Just give me another one. We're finally getting Happy Gilmore 2, so I'm excited for that. You just can't have shooters in it.
Yeah. I think everyone.
Do you think it's going to do the Rocky thing where
You-
Shooter was the bad guy, but now he's going to be the good guy and he's going to help train him?
Or is that like
against
the Cobra Kai thing? Right?
Well, you
Well,
unfortunately
yeah.
can't have Jaws in it, and you can't have Apollo,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is Carl
Can't have
Weathers.
Chubbs. Yeah.
Chubbs, yeah, with the wooden,
One thing.
Yeah.
wooden
Yeah.
hand.
Wouldn't-
That's so good. But so glow in the dark. Then what?
So there's like color change, rocket firing.
Well, rocket firing was
Yeah. One and done.
You would
it
have
didn't
wanted that.
happen. It
You
didn't
would've-
happen.
Well, but I mean, like, there's toys that had rocket firing. It's
Oh,
just the
yeah.
one that you wanted
every 90s
never
channel.
happened.
Right,
Which was the rocket firing Boba Fett.
Right. And some guys can have it, but they have way more money.
Yeah.
The prototype.
I mean, if you want one, they make one.
Oh yeah, no, I have that.
Right,
Well,
right.
Hasbro made it in 2010,
10?
I believe, right? And I tell things to everybody. People come in the store, so sometimes when I tell a story, I was like, did I tell it here? Did I tell it on YouTube?
A lot of talk.
I don't know where I told it, but I did all the proofs and mailed away for her and got a whole case.
Yeah.
It was like 48 or whatever it was.
Well, did you have any favorite gimmicks, or was it just all of them lame? Because most of them to me were pretty lame.
I don't think I was a gimmick guy or a gimmick kid. I don't know. I only had Star Wars and Joe.
I mean, I always thought Thunder Punch He-Man was like
That was a good one.
the bomb.
Yeah, because I mean, it scared everyone when
Right.
you had the little ring caps, and it was just like a little cap gun. It would
I
make
had
that
those
loud
cap
pop.
guns all the time.
Right. So the He-Man was the same thing, but
Yeah.
he was the gun.
RoboCop had that.
Yeah.
yeah. RoboCop.
A
was
lot
the
of toys had that, and those guns.
Cops and Crooks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's right. Yeah, they all had the cap mechanism.
But
Yeah.
Dragon Blast Skeletor was cool too.
Dragon Blast Skeletor was cool. I never had him as a kid. I had Terror Claws, but you immediately lose one, and you're like, well, I guess he's kind of like,
Terra Claw.
Terra Hand.
yeah, he's got just the one. Yeah.
He only needs one. So he can't pick anything up or scratch or do anything with both of them on. He's just walking around. It's like a major problem.
I just got my nails did.
Terra Jaw.
Beast Man. Do my nails.
So the one I thought of more things I didn't like with gimmicks. It's like I was telling Dan about it earlier. Like I can't stand when you get like especially like Marvel or DC or whatever in the 90s. You wait on this one character to come out, and they finally make the figure, and you get it, and he's got one arm straight because he's going to shoot a missile out of it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No,
You lose the elbow.
the figures that are predetermined, like in some weird because they have some action or
Right, because sometimes that's the only time you got that figure, so you're stuck with that.
Well, we were working on this Power Ranger case and doing some of the old 93 8-inch figures, and some of these guys are stuck, because there's a karate action or their hand is always out flat.
Stuck saluting.
Right, so he could salute. But even the box art, it shows a fist, so it doesn't even match. But, he can't do. But, that's cool, I guess, when you're a kid and you hit the button and Superpowers had action.
Well, but I would say Superpowers action was as... Like, it didn't impede on the design of the figure.
Yeah, the figures still look
great.
like... Yeah.
And it's still one of my favorite lines because it just looks so great. And then if you are an action person and you pick this up and you're like, oh, my God, I didn't know it did this.
That's cool.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But...
They still didn't have articulation, but they were still cool looking.
Yeah.
Gimmick-wise, the one thing that I don't like is when Turtles went off the rails. You had sports guys, you had Star Trek, you had...
See, I'm not a turtle guy,
you
but
had farmers. It just didn't make sense. But does turtles make sense to begin with?
Yeah,
they're cool, but
I'm not a turtle guy, but I like all those, especially the Universal Monster ones.
Well, that's kind of cool, but
I like the Army.
I don't know.
I understand
in the Navy Dawn or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, I understand what both of you are saying, and I think this happens with collectors, whether you grew up in it or not. Yeah. Is if you grew up in it and you had it then, it was lame because it felt like they were trying to get your money, and it was so hard to find just a regular Michelangelo or a regular Donatello or whatever else. Years later, now you can find them everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, it just turned into like a cash grab.
Well, yeah, right. Because if you have you have to buy.
This one works at this burger spot. This one makes pizza.
But if you just have 4 characters that are nude, in a way, with their shell on, like, we gotta drastically to keep you buying Leonardo.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, all those gimmicks had diminishing returns, so each new wave of, pancake flipping Don and basketball pumping Raph and whatever else that they would make less and less and less until they got to the end of the line. Then you really can't find these guys.
Well, that's why they're expensive on card, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Turtles all got tons of accessories, so Star Wars was easy, even though there's really hard Star Wars from the end of the run. But G.I.Joe has a ton, especially towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
But Turtles, there's a lot of parts. So, makes it a little bit difficult, especially, with our standard of putting out complete and not, it's got to be worthy of the case, not a beater. So even if we had accessories, but the guy's all beat up, then we have to wait for a better guy to come in.
Yeah.
And then, one thing I loved as a kid and learned to hate as a parent, slime.
Oh, yeah. I think that happened one time in my house. And then it was never again.
Yeah. When I had to cut out carpet. Yeah.
Well, I guess my mom was smart then because I went to the store and I got the He-Man slime when it was brand new. And I got to play with it that evening. And the next day I went to go play with it and the container's gone. And I asked, where did it go? And they're like, oh, well, it's some of it kind of spilled out. We had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that was why. It was lies. I never did spill. I was very careful. But
when that gets in carpeting, it's like getting gum in your hair.
Basically.
Then you got to go get a haircut the next day.
Yeah.
I did that to my friend Jimmy.
So I'll say one other thing about gimmicks because I thought of one line, one very small obscure toy line that had a ton of gimmicks, and it really didn't last. and this might be fun for people to hear about.
From beyond our solar system and all realms of good taste come the Tacky Stretchoid Warriors. The criminals Spike and Fringe plan to convert Earth into an intergalactic shopping mall, but determined to stop them are the good guys, Thunderbolt, Gold Blaster, and Arnie. Each come complete with tacky high-tech uniforms and weaponry. Squish 'em, stretch 'em, watch 'em crawl. Now that's tacky. Are you prepared for these awesome aliens? Why not? Tacky Stretchoid Warriors from Bandai.
I don't know what the tacky wall walker things, you know, where you throw
Oh,
like
right.
an octopus on a wall
Yep,
and it would
I
stick.
know exactly what you're talking about.
It was
Right.
the green guy with all the suction cups, or no?
It wasn't suction
No.
cups; it was sticky.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. And then you
Right.
get them in the
Wall
gumball
walkers
machine.
or whatever they.
Right, wall walkers or wacky walkers or anyway. Super Stretchoid Warriors was a guy who was sticky like that. He had a hard head, and you put a hard plastic outfit on him, and he had a ton of accessories. And we might have 3 or 4 parts in the back, but
It was like armor.
yeah, it was like
Right.
armor. Yeah. So like for years, I had one. I got it from like the Eckerd. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
you
Eckerd
know?
drugs.
And then I run across one. I'm like, oh my god, this is so weird. And like I had this, but it was all gimmick. It was not even a figure. They sold it like a figure.
Yeah.
But he could only stand with a stand and his hard plastic outfit holding him up. Otherwise, he was just a sticky guy, and you couldn't lay him down.
Yeah, because then
Right.
Right.
so covered in dog hair and cat hair.
So it was like multiple gimmicks. It's like you can undress him and you can throw him at the wall, and then you can dress him and don't lay him down. You know?
Yeah.
And he had all neon orange weapons. So,
Yep.
I didn't have one of those.
I did not either.
well, you missed out.
There's
Did I?
No, no.
no room in my budget. I had to buy shows.
It's cooler in concept
Yeah, yeah.
than in execution.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the most gimmicks I can think of in any line. Usually, it's one or
I mean,
maybe 2.
every
gimmicks.
line's got a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
I mean-
Well, I mean, now
I mean, just sitting here, Starcom, magnets. Like,
Magnets were a big
Magnets
deal
and-
when you're a
right.
kid.
right, and wind up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but yeah, I was like, I'd never a fan of that. And then you wind it way too many times, or you force the lever or the limb, and then the wind up stuff comes in.
the majority of Starcom, you just press a button and they
Yeah.
do their thing.
Yeah.
Starcom was cool, but it's
That probably was expensive to make.
like
Oh, yeah. Had to have been.
I mean, quality's good. Great looking. The cartoon was good. I thought it was animated well. It was short.
Yeah.
But yeah, like out of the hierarchy of toys, it's
Yeah.
It's pretty low.
like
Pretty
if you
low
got
on
A to Z, it's like X.
X.
Well, now that we have it out, it might make it the Q.
We'll see how. Yeah. I mean, it's not to knock it
No.
because I mean, some of the I like the line.
I mean, mask, gimmick, vehicle
Yeah.
changing another vehicle.
That line is fantastic.
Right?
Line.
It's so funny to me though to think about like the gator. It's a Jeep.
Yeah,
It turns
but a
into
boat shoots out of it,
But that's less.
and there's a giant depth charge bomb on the back.
Yeah.
That's great conveyance to okay conveyance or not as good.
Yeah. That's Mask, and they got to make that like in legend scale, classified or Black Series. If you have a Rhino, like it's
man.
home run,
How much would that cost?
I'd buy that Rhino fast.
It's Kickstarter
Real fast.
$700.
I would buy it. Should get a Rhino for retro. It's just some Peterbilt truck, right? Let's just get somebody to
Paint it.
show up.
I feel kind of like they got halfway through the design of the Rhino and they're like, this is too good. We can't change it that much. So what can we make? And they just made it just a thing that shoots a giant missile.
Yeah. So I get asked this all the time, and I know it would almost be great because at some point we're going to take this live. I don't know when, but or we could get questions where they would be specific. But I get a lot of people asking how they love the channel or the store's cool and this and that, but they like to where they can learn something about the business or, how did, it's hard to explain. It's just like, how did you get here? And I don't know if I think over the course of 2 years of episodes and telling stories in the store and different things, a lot of it's been explained, but then there's always new people who want to know. But I mean, like, did we even get into how you guys came into the store?
When did we come into the store?
Like, did we ever explain how? Did we talk about this?
How this happened?
No.
Like,
because I mean, a lot of the questions only I would be able to answer to a degree. But like, how did you? We talked about how you came to be with Toy Frederick. Did we?
I guess so.
I don't remember.
I think we talked about how I came in when Justin sat in for him.
Oh, so then we did that.
I think so.
All right.
So
see,
then,
yeah, I see. I don't. But then, yeah, it's just I mean, there's so many. Because I mean, you were just a guy who came into the old shop. I mean, that's literally because you have to remember when I moved here from Florida. So from South Florida, Miami, then I lived in Broward, which was Weston or Fort Lauderdale. And then when I moved here, I didn't know a soul. And I was at the online me. And then, you know, you're in this at home packing orders. And then, you know, long story short, when the economy dipped is when I started to do shows. Because if the money wasn't coming to me, then I had to go find the money. And then shows led to more shows, to where, you know, close to 30 shows a year was my peak year. And getting to where you're gone all the time and you have young kids, that's like a problem. And then you know, I need to be home and around. So I got to the point to where if I opened a store, because I saw a buddy, which I think we've talked about this, but, you know, I'm trying to compress it.
Right.
That if I opened a store and the store could equal what a show did in a month, then that was one weekend a month I didn't have to leave. And then put me home 12, you know. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know. But I mean, it just got to where I don't even know.
I think the biggest step that I recall when it went from kind of a small shop to what we're doing now, which I guess would be a big shop.
Bigger.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger. I mean, there's, you know, and that's another thing. Like there's, you know, we're proud of this store and how we present what we put out and how we do things, you know, but, you know, I haven't been to every store. I've hardly get out of this store.
Yeah.
But I mean, there could be 50 other stores that have similar amazing stuff. It's just, but you know, we know this and we're proud of this.
The big step to me was the show. When you started Retro Toy Con, that's when it was like, okay, this is we're working on something year round. We're not just we'll see what we can build today or.
Well, see this is a good. That leads me to something, because having to do. I mean, it's easy to be complacent, no matter what it is in life. Like, so taking a gamble on a store and signing a 3-year lease, not knowing how you're going to pay the rent, and having 0 employees, you know, which we talked about, where I'd have to close the store in the middle of the day just to get my kids from school, until Chad came along, and then you just grind it out, you know, writing IOUs for trades, you know, because you don't have the money to buy it. But then, you know, giving, you know, honoring your word and it slowly growing to the store started to grow. And then it gets to, well, I want to do a toy show. And then having a guy who came into the shop one time who said, hey, if you ever need a website, which was Justin. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't have a way to get a hold of him. So then the next time he came in the shop, you know, hey, I need a website. Remember you said that? And then, you know, and then the relationships that I had from doing shows, meeting agents and making friends with other promoters, I was able to have a pretty impressive guest list for show 1. Because if you're trying to do a show, it's kind of difficult to get vendors, and guests, because most people want to avoid a first-year show like the plague. Yeah. let's give it time to get going, but I don't want to show up there to make, $1,000. So then again, that was doing that grinding down the road, doing all these shows and networking and meeting people and always putting yourself out there. And even if you're at a show that's a bad show, my dad would always say, then use that as an opportunity. It's kind of like turn lemonade out of lemons. So if nobody's buying, that means the vendors there are probably struggling and they might need money. So now's your chance to make deals from the other vendors. Because, they may be in a position where they needed to take home X amount because they got rent or a bill. Yeah. So then I made, there's just this other example. So we did this print for, and this is horror related. We do have a horror show coming up this year. And there was a print for Devil's Rejects. And I think it was the 10th anniversary of this show. And me and a buddy did, 200 or 300 of this print. And my buddy's show, Bill, who runs Days of the Dead, he was having 10 different cast members there. And so we made this really cool print that had all the faces of the guests that were there. And then we're like, this is going to be great. Maybe they cost us $2-3 a piece. They weren't just like cheap print. They had like, some of them even, they had a glow feature. And so we were like, all right, this is cool. We're going to sell these for $10 a piece. We're going to make like $3,000 and we might have $600 into it. And it'll be a gimmick to get you to come to your booth. And it always is smart to find a reason to get somebody to come to your booth, some gimmick. And so day goes by. We might have sold 10. We're like, what a bust this was. You got all these cast members here and nobody's buying this really killer print. And so then we're like, well, what if we could get one of the guests to trade out some of the prints? Like, because it was a nice print. It was you would know better, but the material wasn't paper. It was almost like
cardstock.
Yeah, it's probably like Bristol bordered.
Yeah, it was nice. And so I was like, well, Bill Moseley was there and Sid Haig was there. And they're the stars of the film. I mean, you're not getting, Rob Zombie's wife or whatever. She's not at the show.
Right.
So she's probably not at any show.
Yeah.
Sherry Moon, right? Is that her name?
Yeah, I think so. Sherry Moon Zombie.
So, yeah. And then, so I was like, if I can get Sid to do this. So I said, I was like, well, what's the number I could play with? So then I took 30 prints to Sid. And I said, would you sign 30 of these if I gave you 30? It's like an upsell at your booth. And he goes, sure. So I was like, this is fantastic. So 30. So I've given 30 away. Sid signs 30. So now I go to Bill Moseley, or Otis in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, you sign 30, these 30 that Sid just signed, and I'll give you 30 of this print. And he's like, Sid did it? And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, okay, I'll do it. So now I've given 60 away, but then the 30 are signed. So then I go to William Forsythe, who was there. He don't want to do it for trading.
Right.
So it's like, I'll come back to you. And then I think Ginger Lynn was there, and Leslie Easterbrook, she was the mother. She was also in Police Academy. She was the one that not Hightower. Who's the guy with the,
Tackleberry.
Tackleberry, yeah. Tackleberry had the hots for.
Yeah, yeah.
And which I totally didn't realize that she's the mother in that. And then she just signed him to sign him. She's like, honey, I'll sign him or whatever. She just signed him. And then there was it's probably way too long of a story, but literally I went up to everybody and then they all did it. And this one just did it for nothing. The guys who were selling the chickens, there's, where they go to, I don't know. You can't say that. You're not going to do something to them chickens, are you?
Yeah.
That guy was there. And then the other guy he was, and he was in Pulp Fiction. He's like, Spider, we gotta fly. He was in the pawn shop.
Oh yeah. He was also in Hobgoblins.
Oh, really?
Let's
So it's a long story. Everybody signs it. Now I had this, and then one of the guests canceled, so only 9 of the 10 were present. So I took something that wasn't working and made it into this fantastic thing to where now I have a $300 print.
Yeah.
And I traded for all of it. So, it's taking a bad show, turning it into a good show by turning it into a buying show. And again, you just rented a store and a building and you don't know how you're going to pay rent. And then a year or two later, I'm going to do a toy show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then using the relationships to get guests. And then the vendors were all relationships. People that I met doing shows and asking favors. Do me a solid. It's first. And then now they're begging to get in.
Yep.
With like 40 vendor wait lists. So.
Yeah. So many people, like, it's not quite daily, but sometimes it feels like it. We get people asking, can we set up at your show? And you can always tell when someone hasn't been because they're like, well, how much is a table? And it's like, you kind of can't get in. And
Yeah. Well, what do you mean I can't get in?
What do you mean I can't? It's like, we're full. How are you full? Like, we have a lot of people that's well, I just wasn't prepared for this. And then if you go, you see, wow, this is a lot.
Well, and then the hotel sells out, and then they're like 3 months out.
Yeah.
I can't get a room, because it's sold out.
Yeah.
Why didn't you book earlier?
Book early.
But even so, like, we have no control over, like, that's for us means it works, it's successful, and people are so excited to come, and then it's like they're kind of surprised that it's
high impact
successful.
toys.
It's very high impact.
High impact.
Yeah.
It's high impact.
Believe me.
But
But
now, back to square one again, starting a horror show.
Yeah.
But I've only had like 30 or 20, 25 horror guests in the store. Like,
Yeah.
and then we have, like, the vendors aren't going to be a problem either, because most horror conventions you'll go to lack quality toy vendors. There are a lot of artsy crafty type vendors, which is fine, but not all of them. So we're going to have a good toy representation and try again to do it the way we do it. So have a good toy show. It's not a retro toy show.
Right.
So, you'll see like Trick or Treat Studios or NECA or, whether it's Hot Toys or Sideshow or whoever, but, statues, props. So, and then I'll get that down pat. And then maybe there'll be something else. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, so whatever it is in life, you just have to
Switch gears.
Oh, and overcommit. You'll force yourself to grow.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll stay right where you're at. It's just anything in life. So there's people who are gonna. It's.
Oh, being complacent's easy, right?
Well, yeah, it's comfortable. Like, I don't want to get up an extra early so I could do cardio.
I don't.
I do it every morning, but I feel better.
Yeah.
And then that's when I do my social media in the morning. So if you ever get a reply at 6:30 in the morning, that's because that's when
That's your window.
That's my window. Because then once we get to the shop, then it's getting everything caught up from the day
Then you're on the
prior.
phone all day long.
Well, then my phone doesn't stop ringing.
Yeah, it's all day.
But we have a new number, so the shop phone is different. So most people, when they call, you may not always get me now because it's either going to be Craig or Travis or Andy or somebody else.
But that's funny too. People are like, if they get you or even any of us,
yeah.
I can't believe you guys are answering your phone. It's
Yeah,
like, well, we're
We're here.
doing this. We're not pretending.
We're here.
We are doing this.
Well, because I think anybody who's gone to Vegas makes a point to go to the Pawn Stars place, and those guys aren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a set anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that show's been running 15, 20 years. I don't know.
Probably longer. Feels like it.
This is almost as long as the Curse of Oak Island thing.
I'm still interested in that.
Oh, it's cool. I've been
watch
interested in that as a kid.
Right?
John Wayne, right? Former presidents. Everybody was looking for that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on now. You're what? Yeah.
I mean, it's no field trip to the
You
paper
spent
mill.
more money than you're gonna. You spent more money than you're gonna find.
You're gonna find his treasure.
Now it's got to keep going because people come and buy T-shirts.
Well, at this point, I mean, History Channel's paying for
right.
all the overhead.
You guys find anything? Nope.
Keep digging.
It's fine. We're gonna keep filming.
That whole island's gonna sink with all the holes they put in it.
Found some more rocks and wood.
Oak Ocean. We're searching for the treasure as the island has now sank.
But like, I've watched it from the beginning, and it's like, man, just find something.
I
already.
think the really good one, because I mean, I watched this documentary on this, and I think it was Bryant Gumbel or something.
Oh, I know where you're going.
He did one on Kecksburg, he did one on Roswell, and he did one on Yamashita's Gold.
Yep.
And you cannot find that.
So
they took it away.
well, History or whoever travel, whatever, they did one season and it's never come back.
It's like, I think that's something.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then they blew the tunnel up with all the guys who dug it, supposedly, and then was it Marcos
There's
or
like
whatever
marked
had
rocks and
Yeah.
But that's what. But I don't know. It ain't been found yet.
nope.
But I think they're better off finding that than
Bigfoot.
I believe in Bigfoot.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Travis probably doesn't.
No,
You're
he's
crazy.
ridiculous.
Crazy.
It's totally
The
real.
hairy dude
Hell-
no one can find.
It's totally real. I want to look for that in Loch Ness.
I'm down.
I thought that one was proven fake.
You can't prove that.
All right.
You can't prove it.
Dude, cryptids is where it's at.
Where what's at?
To watch, to find, to...
It's the same episode every time.
No, it's not.
We're out in the woods. We're looking for chupacabra.
They do the knocking on the
we
trees.
just found droppings.
Now you
What
just
is-
don't know the knockings from some other Bigfoot guy trying to talk
Right.
to him, and then the other guy knocks back, and they're like, "There's Bigfoot," and they have these recordings. But I still
Or
believe in
they're
Bigfoot.
doing the calls.
Yeah, there's always 30 minutes of like night footage with like the guy looking scared, and then the next day happens and nothing's.
I still believe in Bigfoot.
I'm not gonna stop you from believing.
I just I want to believe it.
All right.
Patterson film is real. I think so. They analyzed it. It's like the tendons in the leg are moving and stuff. You can't get some suit to do that.
Not back then.
They talked to like Rick Baker and those guys on one special, and they go, "We couldn't do that in the '60s or whatever." And then who would make it female? Nobody would do that.
That's true.
No, nobody making the costume.
It's
That's
just-
like even more absurd.
it's.
Like you would like.
I think all of it's absurd.
Nah, it's real.
That's fine. That's fine. You can.
It's more real than Spider-Man. I tell you that.
That's true.
I never said Spider-Man was real, but you know what? Spider-Man gets real.
Does he?
What
With
about
great
that?
power comes great responsibility.
What
What's a
about
better
that
line?
$50 Spider-Man coming out? That it's just a Marvel Legend
Oh, well, I guess
because
I'm
you
not.
get extra hands.
I guess I'm not getting that one.
It gets real when he starts dancing in part 3.
Hey,
Look, I can't
like to-
control what everybody else does with Spider-Man.
I like Toby.
I like the first 40 issues. That's the best part. It's the first 40, and then everything else is just nah.
First 40 issues of Amazing. That's it.
Well, first 36 is just Stanley and Steve Ditko.
Yeah, but you don't like in the 120s and the early 100s.
I like some of
to
those.
The
But
Gibbon?
what I'm saying is
First Gibbon.
the established history is 1 to issue 40. There's never a better run in comics. I don't care which character or whatever you point to. You can say, "Oh, Batman's got better villains."
There's
It's
no
like,
Punisher yet, though.
well, I know, but what I'm saying is that establishes Spider-Man. I'm not saying Punisher's
right.
not great, but I'm saying for Spider-Man, like he got his entire rogues gallery in 40 issues, and it was 2 guys that didn't even speak to each other.
You're right.
Like Batman, it took 40 years for Batman to get that. Superman still doesn't have that. You know, all these characters don't have that. But anyway, getting off on a Spider-Man tangent. See,
Well, I guess Gibbon is kind of like Bigfoot.
I think first appearance Gibbon.
Yeah, Craig will like
Craig
that.
will
one.
like that. Well, he has it, right?
He does.
I gifted one of the guys here, Craig, who I think he's famous because you saw his arm in one episode.
Right.
He was in more. Like he brought the belt out.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, if that's your intro,
That's your intro.
That's why you're not in it more.
Well, yeah, it was something
It was a
like
joke, but yeah, he's been here more. Craig was just helping out on certain days where he's here a lot more now. But he likes to eat.
That he does.
He's always eating. He'll eat lunch and then time for second lunch.
Third lunch.
Yeah.
Fourth lunch.
Even though I learned he doesn't eat breakfast, which is weird for a guy that's always eating.
It's his kryptonite, I guess.
Yeah,
Breakfast food.
that's how he can have 2 lunches. Skip
So-
breakfast.
So anyway, it turned into like this.
a
Like he
running
really
joke.
got into comics, and then of course there's the comic book guy kind of voice, but it also sounds kind of like the Robot Chicken.
Yeah. To
nerd
me, it sounds
voice.
like the Robot Chicken guy that you do.
Right. So we both just.
He,
Well, I
he
guess
can,
we all do the voice, right?
I can't do
I
it.
can't.
You and Craig can do it great. I can't. I can't do my voice. I can't get my
Yeah.
voice to do that.
But it started with, independent of that, years before, David brought in this graded copy of Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So Connor
Yeah.
and David.
Was it? It's like it's the one teens. I forget what.
I think it's 110
110. Okay, first appearance of Gibbon, which
graded.
Graded.
I don't know if the Gibbon has really ever. He's probably shown up somewhere else, but not really.
Well, he has no 111.
He's in 111 too.
Oh, Andy, you win. You win. Anyway, the point is the Gibbon. No one cares. The Gibbon doesn't care.
We're trying to make Gibbon great again.
Yeah. So that became like the whole thing of people coming in saying like, oh, I got these special edition sunglasses. You can't find these anywhere. And it's like, oh, according to eBay, there's just like 50 listings right now for $10. And it happens. People don't always know, but there's a certain amount of like, I don't know what, nerd culture where it's like you're informing someone, so then it turns into,
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Could I have the first appearance, special edition Gibbon cameo? So we just kept adding to like all the terms that's in comics, and it turned into this big thing. And then Craig does the voice too,
Yeah,
and
he
he
can
loves
do
it.
it good.
So then it landed on the Gibbon, I guess, because at different times we've made fun of no one cares about this graded book.
Right. We have this graded book that why would you grade this?
Why would-
Who
yeah, why-
cares?
Why would you grade
It
the
didn't even
Gibbon?
grade all that well, right?
It's a low grade. Right?
So it was like a
better.
no-win graded book, but then it turned into that, and then you gave it to Craig, and now it's whenever something comes in and it's
I even think I got him a gift of one of the original art pages.
Oh, yeah.
From Amazing 110 frames. So he's going to be like the Gibbon aficionado.
The Gibbon.
and he's gonna lean into it. He loves it.
And no matter what you get, no matter how good it is it as good as first Gibbon?
It's no Gibbon, that's for sure.
That's no Gibbon. So hopefully the value shoots up at some point, or he gets a.
We'll
in the
speak
movie.
it into existence.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about that.
That is a
right?
good one.
So there's this thing where somebody might ask about let's just say some rare toy or some rare line or whatever else, and we don't have it. We haven't had it. Maybe we haven't had it in years, and we start talking about it, and then 2 weeks to a month later,
Yeah,
it just
comes in.
shows
Oh,
up.
it's happened like a day later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then it's speaking it into existence, and that happens
All the time.
all the time.
Yeah.
Which I guess in some ways it seems like, oh wow, this is like almost magic. But if it's going to come anywhere, it is going to come to the toy shop. So it's like it's kind of magic.
Yeah,
but it's also like it would only come here.
But if it hadn't come in a year and then you talk about it, then it comes.
Right,
and
right.
That was like the time we got the 5 carded Motu in a week when he didn't have
Oh right,
any.
yeah, we weren't getting them in, and then, but I mean, there was a time where we had no Terror drums.
Right.
We had like 3 in a row, boom, 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 sold, and it was like a year, and then now we put 2 box ones together, and they both sold. So now we're back to none.
That was doors.
Or there's certain pieces you're trying to build. Like what was it? It was something we were just building, and then it was like, Titanus.
Oh,
Like we never have the foot plates,
Yep.
which most people don't realize it gets.
got him.
and we never have those. So that was always the holdout from completing one.
Right.
And then
chain.
we have a ton of foot plates now, and we don't have the chain.
Yeah. And that happens a lot.
So it's just,
Or Mobat tips.
or like with pyramiduses, we were out of the tips.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we have 2 tips. So
Yeah.
so it's weird. It's like for you with the g.i.joes, it was at one point you need the hand for bats, but then and then it was the hook. Like it would switch.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Trap Jaw, where like we needed the hook all the time,
Yep.
and then it turned into the clamp for some reason, and then the gun, you know, and it just seems to alternate at times. And then like for whatever reason, like one time I just couldn't find a decent belt; they all had cracks in them.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and then you say like, I wish we had a good one, and then it just kind of just shows up.
Yeah.
I used to pick at Andy all the time about Night Force, because like I knew.
Because he wasn't going to collect it.
He was like, I'm not going to collect Night Force. They'd be like, you know, it would be really great collecting Night Force. And he was like, shut up. And then, he decided.
By the way, how's that Marvel Legend collection going, Travis?
I'm done. 23 years worth. I don't need to answer to anyone.
So you're a quitter.
I might be. Yeah.
You're a quitter.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to pay $50 for a Spider-Man. What do you want me to say?
It is a 50. That's
That's a little rough.
That's a gouge. I don't like it.
for extra hands and stuff.
And
Yeah.
the Peter Parker head to me does not look good. Neither do the spiderweb effects.
Yeah. Well, I don't even. That's not
doesn't
even.
look good.
That's not even the version of Spider-Man I like. It looks like the like sort of McFarlane, but sort of not. And then it's like they're saying, well, it's all new, retooled, redesigned. And I'm like, I guarantee if that figure shows up,
It's on the Bucky body.
you're
what-
going to find that body. Yeah.
What I'm getting, so when my rep calls and I order Hasbro, I'm getting that a lot in the description, because I do these really long phone calls where they walk through everything.
All new body, all new articulation.
New tooling.
Yeah.
So because you're getting the same guy again
Yeah.
to a degree, right? But they
I mean, always, really.
first upgraded this.
It's like I always has been. I always got full articulation, butterfly shoulder.
But I mean, it happens a lot with Transformers, but it
First time in the line.
oh yeah, no, you get that a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, Transformers, it doesn't matter. It all sells.
I think the reason why that's happening a lot with a lot of lines is foreign market. And the reason why I say that is like, if you want to go buy a Fig Arts or a MA.F.X figure,
Right.
they start at $60-$70. And then you have American companies here saying, why can't we get that?
They're trying to undercut them.
Well, the thing is that some of those things like Fig Arts are now in Walmart. So then they're dropping in price, and they're still an import. And now the American lines are trying to push the level up to that, like especially like MA.F.X, because that's supposed to be the big one there, where it's like $80-$100 figures all the time.
But I mean, if you go to $50 figures constantly, man, I think you're gonna cut out a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the justification is, well, they can get that, we should be able to, but those are they're imports,
Right.
So
I
it's
still don't-
somebody's paying to bring them here.
How about make things more affordable,
yeah.
I'm
so
with
that when things are tight for everybody and everything's gone up,
Yeah.
and then like the Hasbro stuff just keeps,
Oh yeah.
and
I mean, I remember you could buy a case of Legends for $100. Like,
I mean, McFarlane
Yeah.
seems to put out a nice figure for $20
Yeah. He doesn't really change his price
with a
point.
stand and a trading card.
Yeah.
So I mean, it clearly could be done. I just don't know if, because he's his own company. I saw a video of him. I think he was at New York Toy Fair, and he's like, he walked away from the this is all scripted, I'm sure. but
Right.
He walked away from where the people were in his booth, and he's like, I'm not supposed to do this. And then he points to this thing and says, no photography. And he's like, but it's my company, and I'm just going to do it anyway. I don't care what they say. And then he shows you something I guess he shouldn't show you, which I'm sure he could do whatever he wants to do with
I've
this
woken
stuff.
to my own company.
what would you do?
But it was cool. I like McFarlane.
I am my own saboteur.
So who is it when he does them perfectly? Is Liefeld.
Oh yeah, Liefeld does like a fantastic impression.
You should just look up Rob Liefeld impression of McFarlane.
Well, I think, I mean, because
great.
they were like best friends for.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
they're still friends. I don't know, but they were best friends years ago, and so they got to know each other really well. I don't know. I like comic industry stories.
Well, I think
and
McFarlane revolutionized the toy industry.
he definitely made a dent.
He was the first one to me to do horror figures
Yeah.
and movie figures that weren't Star Wars or, like Star Trek, like, to give you,
different genres.
Escape from New York or The Thing or like.
With a focus on realism.
Yeah. So they're more like statues, which is
essentially a Spawn is a color reversed Deadpool.
Well,
I just loved Movie Maniacs when those first came out.
yeah.
I mean, big fan.
No, they're good.
And then the military stuff was cool.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
And the sports stuff, which ain't my thing, but they're amazing.
I bought a ton of that.
Yeah.
He made the way for NECA and other companies after him. That's everything he was doing then. That's what's keeping them going now. And he just kind of does what he wants.
Why didn't he do that stuff again? And then somebody was like, well, he'd already done it. Because it was like,
the movie
if he
Maniacs
continued
line.
doing the horror stuff, then would NECA even be? It's like I've done that. I'm done. I'm on to other things, whether it was Halo or this or that. But then all this other stuff comes out. And then when he brought Movie Maniacs back, I was excited. But then it's
not
Ted Lasso or something. Like where that's not a Maniac. Like I wanted
Christmas Vacation, Pineapple.
But then I heard he was going to do something with some of the additions to the existing lines. Like you might have got another Tortured Soul or another Twisted Fairy Tale, or maybe some of the ones on the cutting room floor that didn't get made. Yeah, I don't know.
I saw something. He got some rights to do Turtles. So
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's going to do Turtles.
Everybody's doing.
Well, then he might. There's not going to be anybody left.
No.
Literally.
Hasbro. Hasbro may not.
They
have done
did the
Turtles.
turtle crossovers with the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Those were Hasbro.
I thought that was Mattel.
That was Mattel, I thought. I don't know.
No, they were Hasbro.
Or
no, they did the He-Man turtle crossovers. That's what I'm thinking, right?
No, the Shredder.
Shredder.
They're in the Power Ranger section. They're the white.
The Power Rangers.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
That crossover.
Yeah.
Crap, yeah, they did.
Hasbro did Turtles. Loyal Subjects, Super 7, NECA.
Everybody.
Best Action.
Yeah.
Well, that's Loyal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. There was one other company, too, right? I thought there was one other one. Anyway.
There's got to be.
Like 20 companies doing turtle stuff. And it's funny because there was a while there we were getting trades of nothing but turtles. And it felt like people were just like, they were coming in and they were just like, because like they were trying to keep up with buying everything, and you can't keep up with that many companies.
But I mean, there was this peak, but a lot of this was post-COVID, coming off of COVID, because anybody who has a classified Baroness knows they're lucky to sell it for $30, $20. There's a point where that thing I think was $200 or $150.
Yeah,
no, I hit too.
And then a lot of the NECA turtles at Target or whatever were such high demand.
Yeah.
Ban backlash because I couldn't get them.
Yep.
But then it's then the counterpart is, well, then they run it again, and then you're pissed off that it's worthless.
Yeah.
But you can buy 40 of them.
Yeah. You can troop build now.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for this one.
Yep.
So appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us in the comments what you. Yeah, tell the mailman. But tell us in the comments.
Tell them about the Gibbon.
Tell
everyone
us
about
what
the
you
Gibbon.
want us to talk about, or give us some ideas.
Topics.
Topics.
Toy Federation.